Alright, boys. Last episode we did chapter 6 or 7 of Diary of a Wimpy Meltdown. And I don't know what chapter I'm on, but go to the last episodes to see. Friday. When I woke up this morning, I was totally exhausted. My legs felt like rubber from all the running yesterday, and I barely got any rest because I had a nightmare the Mingos were chasing me. I was going to tell Mom I couldn't go to school today, but then I looked out the window. I realized I didn't have to. It snowed at least 5 inches overnight, which meant school was closed, so I was looking forward to a nice relaxing day of absolutely nothing. Mom and Dad were already gone, and Manny was at daycare. Roderick usually sleeps past 1 p.m. on snow days, mo- so I more or less had the whole house to myself. I went downstairs to make a bowl of cereal and turn on the TV, but there was something wrong with the remote. I noticed it felt a little light, so I opened up the back of the remote to see if there was any missing battery. It turns out there weren't any batteries inside, but there was a note from Mom. To get the batteries for the remote, load the dishwasher. I didn't really feel like doing chores on a snow day, so I looked around the house for some batteries I could put in the remote. Mom must have known I would have done that because there wasn't a spare battery anywhere. I couldn't figure out how Mom was gonna know I loaded the dishwasher since she wasn't even home. But then I put in the last plate and shut the door. It was another note with a battery taped to it. Congratulations, clean the downstairs bathroom to get your next battery. I didn't like where this was heading. The TV remote takes 4 batteries, and at this rate, I was gonna burn through my whole day doing chores. But then I realized I didn't have to. The remote in Mom and Dad's bedroom is really skinny, and I was pretty sure it only took 1 battery. And it turns out I was right. I knew I was gonna have to finish all my chores before Mom and Dad get home, but I figured I had plenty of time, and I deserved to enjoy myself for a little while. So I made myself comfortable on their bed and turned on TV. Ordinarily, I get a little weirded out being in Mom and Dad's bed, but today I decided to make an exception, especially when I realized one of the blankets was the one we got from Aunt Dorothy for Christmas. Watching TV in bed was awesome, or at least for a while. I was comfortable for the first 2 hours, but after that, but my neck started hurting from laying in that position. I've already said that then I get a place of my own. I'm gonna attach a TV up to the ceiling, so I have to look straight up the TV at it. But I'm gonna have to install the TV who knows what they're doing because I don't need to be the next flat Stanley. I must have dozed off for a little while because then the phone rang. It startled me. It was Mom, and I figured she was checking on me if I'd finished my chores. But the reason she was calling me is to tell me she couldn't make it home in time to pick up Manny at the daycare, so she was gonna have to have Mrs. Drummond drop Manny off at the house. That meant I had to babysit, which was gonna really mess up the rest of my day. When Mrs. Drummond dropped off Manny a half hour later, I didn't know what to do with him. I put Manny in Mom's and Dad's room and turned on some cartoons, but he just followed me back downstairs. So I guess Manny just wanted to be with me. I tried to remember that Roderick used to do with me when I was little, but all I could think of was the time he gave me lemon juice and told me it was soda. Then I remembered a game we used to play, and me and Roderick used to play. It was actually fun. We pretended the floor was lava, and we had to stay off by using the cushions and pillows from the couch. Me and Roderick used to play that game for hours. I figured if I got Manny to start it, he would keep playing himself entirely. entertained while I wrapped up my chores. But when I told Manny how the game worked, he actually freaked out. Okay, the floor is lava. So now Manny wouldn't go anywhere near the floor, and that made things really inconvenient for me. But I still had to do my chores, or I'd be in big trouble when Mom and Dad come home. And I did a big one in front of me. A big one in front of me, which was shoveling the driveway. I knew Manny would have a total meltdown if I left him inside with all that lava. So I got him dressed in the snow gear, which wasn't easy. I figured Manny could play on the back deck while I shoveled the driveway, and he'd be safe because the deck is closed in. The snow in the driveway was wet and heavy, and it was hard to make any progress. After a half hour, I decided to take a break and soak my hands in some warm water. While I was inside, I figured I'd check to see how Manny was doing out on the back deck, but Manny was gone, and he left a little stair, and then he built a little staircase out of snow to escape. Thankfully, he didn't go far, but I realized I couldn't leave him alone anymore. So, I took Manny to the front yard with me. It was getting late, and really gets Dad gets really mad when the driveway is not cleared when he comes home from work. So I shoveled it as fast as I could. Manny pitched in to help, but there was just too much snow and not enough time. I was ready to give up when some girls from a different neighborhood walked up and offered to clear our driveway for $10. These kids looked young, and I didn't see how they would do any better than me and Manny, but we could use all the help we can get, so I was willing to give them a chance. I had $5 in my drawer next to my bed, and I got another $5 from the big jar of change Manny has in his room. But what I didn't realize was I agreed to the deal with those girls was that they had a snowblower. So they were done clearing the whole driveway inside in 5 minutes. I feel like I was getting ripped off, so I told them I'll pay them $3 instead of 10. But I guess that wasn't the first time someone tried to stiff them on payment. They moved all the snow back in the driveway and added the snow back into the driveway and added the snow in the front lawn just to make a point. By the time my parents got home, things were worse off than I started. After dinner, Mom and Dad lectured me until about 8 o'clock for not finishing my chores. And that's when Roger got out of bed to start his day. Alright, that's the end of this one. See you guys in the next.